Hello, welcome back to Energy 101. We've talked about energy needs, where we use energy, and today we're going to talk about where we get that energy. Because of the law of conservation of energy, you can't create energy from nowhere, from nothing. So we have to find energy in nature in order to convert it to the mode that society needs it, like transportation and space heating and space air conditioning for the buildings and so on and so forth. We went over that already. Today we're going to look at the natural energy sources. Natural means they're on the earth and in the atmosphere, and they're available for us to harvest and convert and use. So that's where we're focusing today. Where are we getting all this energy that society wants and needs and uses in order to make our lives better? As we said, it's the energy sources that we need to supply the society's energy used for buildings, manufacturing, and transportation, to take three main components there. Hydrocarbon supplies makes up most of it. Hydrocarbons are fossil fuels, we refer to it in many cases. When we look at where we're getting that energy, we get 20% of our energy supplies that we use from coal, and that is going down a little bit for various reasons. One is with the global warming, carbon emissions issues. Then coal is the worst offender. It produces more CO2 per unit of heat released when you burn it than the other fossil fuels. So there's a lot of pressure underway to reduce coal electric power as a source of our electricity, and it's not only CO2, but it's also sulfur oxides, nitric oxides, and ash is some of the other emissions that we have to deal with. Oil is the biggest one at 36%. That's primarily because we use it so much for transportation. About 98% of our transportation energy comes from oil because it's portable. We can pour it in a tank and carry it around with us to fuel our engines. Natural gas is 26%, and that because of the natural gas boom that we'll talk about, it's going up and it's now 26%. Uranium, nuclear is a significant source. That's 9%, which is the next largest category. Nuclear, we haven't started a nuclear plant since the late 70s, early 80s, but now we've just started one in Georgia, as a matter of fact, the only one in the country that's been started for 30 years or so. And so we'll see how the cost comes out on that and what the issues are regarding new nuclear plants. But that's been fairly steady in the number of nuclear plants for the last 30 years. Renewable resources, there are a whole slew of them. Biomass, that's wood, corn, ethanol, are two major ones. Hydroelectricity, where you get electricity from dams, that's 3%. Biomass, by the way, is 5%. I've got them listed in order of contribution here. And wind is 1.2%. And geothermal is about a quarter. That's energy from the earth, and because it's hot if you go down and warmer than the air, and so we can use that thermal energy from the earth and generate energy from it and use that energy. Solar energy has been growing significantly. It's still under 0.2%, however, and you can see it's about 6 times less than wind, which are two you hear more about than anything else regarding renewable energy. So those are the sources of our energy. Hydrocarbon supplies, that's made up of coal, oil, and natural gas. Uranium used in nuclear power plants. Biomass, wood, corn, ethanol, 5%. Hydro, 3%. wind 1.2%, geothermal a quarter, and solar less than 0.2%. That's shown on this pie chart right here, and which you can see get a quick visual for the relative size there with these numbers on here. But by the way, this is for a major item. What I just gave you was for 2011, and this is for 2002, so you can see how things change. You can see that in 2002 it was 22%. That's now dropped to 20%, and natural gas was in 2002 2.4%. That's risen to about 26%, and oil has dropped from 39 down to 36%. And here nuclear has risen a little bit from 8% to 9% because they've become the reliability has become better, so we run the nuclear plants more. And then biomass, hydro, all this is for 2002. And then we have the similar pie chart for 2011, and as we can see that I just mentioned, you've got coal that has dropped in the 10 years to 20%, natural gas has risen to 26%, and oil has dropped from 39 to 36%. Nuclear has risen some from 8 to 9%. Here's the changes. Here's the contribution. Sometimes it's easier to see the relative size on a bar chart. And with coal out here at 20%, natural gas at 26%, oil at 36%, nuclear at 9%, biomass 5%, hydro 3%, wind 1.2%, geothermal a quarter, and solar a little less than 0.2%. You can see when you start off so low with wind and solar, even though we've been installing those since the 1980s in significant quantities, it takes an awful long time to make a significant contribution to the installed base of electric power generating plants that are out there and operating. So that's the source of our energy. And right now and back in 2002, as we saw, you can compare those, and it gives you an idea of what we're relying on right now in order to supply our energy needs that society wants. Thank you.